Mike here. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk in this video about a scenario that someone in a set of comments last week on my LinkedIn post about product owner and scrum master merging the roles. A comment came up about having one development team with many product owners in many different product backlogs and products trying to work with this one team. Now I thought this is one that actually I encounter quite a bit, and so I thought this would be a good one to talk about. I'll tell you what my thoughts are. I'll tell you what rules of Scrum say, and afterwards I'd love to hear what what you folks have seen out there, your experiences with this. So let's get started. So the rules of Scrum don't actually say that you cannot have many product owners, many product backlogs, and one development team. Now, this does not mean it's a good idea just because the Scrum Guide doesn't say you can't do it. However, it is not breaking the rules of Scrum if you are doing this. Now, so that's out of the way. Now I want to get into why I'm going to suggest you not do this. Now, let's start first with understanding that role of product owner and the development team and establishing a sprint goal. Now, as a development team and product owner are working in sprint planning, they're trying to come up with that forecast and sprint goal, trying to create meaning, purpose, mission for what that sprint is going to be about. If you can imagine having 4 or 5 different products, really a hodgepodge of work in many different product backlogs, and the team is trying to put together and then trying to emerge with a sprint goal or sprint goals for that sprint for each product, it becomes very challenging. Now, I'm not going to say, somebody out there might come back and say, oh, I've done it, and that's great. I'm glad you've been successful with this. I've never actually seen this work well. What I tend to find is that it starts to erode, and it really just becomes kind of like a development pool with product owners sending in a bunch of chores to the teams, and they just kind of take the work, and it's almost like work that's funneling into like an operational support team who's taking work in from these different product owners. There's not goal-based, there's not value-based delivery. So what you've done effectively is in that case, right, if that's your scenario, is extracted or removed the goal from the sprint for the team. And with that, once you remove the goal from the sprint, that goal of delivery of value, how you're going to meaningfully advance the product that sprint, you remove an important and fundamental aspect of Scrum that enables self-organization, but most importantly, has a focus on the delivery of value. And this is very much embedded in Scrum. And so once you've done that, it degrades self-organization with the team, but on top of that, the focus on value moves away, and it really becomes a set of chores that the team addresses every sprint. So this is a couple of the things about it, right? So, if you look at teams where you have multiple product owners, you're obviously going to have contention for work. You're going to have sometimes pressure to start work for all of the product owners every sprint. This often emerges in people taking on too much work, starting too much work at the same time. There are many lean principles that will show you that if you do this, all the work is going to take longer. You're likely to get less done. You're likely to have more defects. You're better off not putting the team in a situation where that kind of contention from these product owners could result in bad things happening for the team, but ultimately happening for the products, the product owners, and the company itself. Ultimately the people who are paying the major price for this is your company, who's paying the price for a development team who's not being leveraged as effectively as they could be. So what would you do, or what would I do, or what do I suggest in these situations? Well, what I tend to suggest is a couple of different models. Now, one is could we really just have like 3 or 4 different teams? Now that may or may not be practical, it may not be possible, but that's something that you might look at doing. Something else that you could look at doing is saying, well, okay, like if we have to have all of these products happening, and we have one team that's relatively small, can't really break it up, maybe, take a sprint, have it focused on a product, and the next sprint have it focused on another product, but try to retain or maintain those rules of Scrum at least within the sprint, so that you can leverage, and by respecting the rules, but leverage the power of the rules of Scrum to enable the team, the product owner, and the company to deliver a better product. So that's my quick answer. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So as always, put your comments below. If you disagree with me, that's cool, man. I'd love to hear it. Again, it's not a rule of Scrum that you can't do it. This is Mike's editorial and Mike's opinion that, really this is not a good idea. And I will suggest that anyone I speak to, if I see it, and I see the problems that are emerging, like the ones I've just talked about, I will suggest unwinding that and figuring out other ways to approach it.